What money damages are available in a personal injury case? If you were a law student taking the bar examination and the question was, what money damages are available in a personal injury case, the correct answer is that the claimant is entitled to be put back in the position they were in prior to the accident, to the extent you can do that with money damages. Now, obviously, we cannot replace a severed leg or remove pain, and the claimant does not make a profit. The claimant simply is compensated for the losses, and there are basically 6 items of compensation. First of all is property damage. The classic example is if you're in an automobile accident, you have the right to have your car replaced or repaired. The second item is you're entitled to have your medical expenses that you've incurred to date paid. In most cases, those medical expenses will have been paid by your insurance, and you may have an obligation to pay some of that money back to your insurance company. The third item of damages is you're entitled to a sum of money that will allow you to pay the future medical expenses when they're occurred. Now, we could have a lot of different kinds of systems. We could have a system where when someone's injured, they save their receipts, and at the end of every year, they submit them to the insurance company, and that could go on for 10, 15, 20 years. Obviously, the insurance companies don't like that. So instead, the insurance companies require us to have an estimate of future medical expenses. It's a little bit like getting an estimate for repair of a car, except the human body is a lot more complicated. We need to have a doctor who will testify that more likely than not, this medical expense will be incurred and that it is a reasonable and necessary medical expense. So the third item is a sum of money that will allow you to pay the future medical expenses as they're incurred. The fourth item is lost earnings to date. That's usually easy if you are a teacher or you work at a place where they have a regular salary. It's harder if you're a fisherman, we don't know how many fish you're going to catch, or if you are a realtor, we don't know how many houses you're going to sell, or if you're self-employed. But we can work that out. What we do for future wages, which is the fifth item, is even a little more complicated. The fifth item is you're entitled to a sum of money that will replace your future loss of earning capacity. So in that case, what we have to do, we have to take all of your medical records, send you to a physical capacities evaluator to establish what your diminution of earnings is. We then send those reports to a vocational counselor to determine what you can earn after the injury, and then the difference is calculated by an economist. But we can establish what your lost future earning capacity is. The sixth item is more complicated. It's general damages for pain, suffering, disability, and disfigurement. And it's fundamentally different because property damage, medical expenses to date, future medical expenses, lost wages to date, future loss of earning capacity, those are things you can buy. But you can't buy pain, suffering, disability, and disfigurement. You could put 1,000 people up against a wall and say, okay, we want volunteers. Who would like to have a life-changing event by being run over by a truck? Nobody would ever volunteer for that. So we have to project to the jury the difference in your life that's occurred because of the injury. And that's where a good lawyer comes in. The lawyer has to humanize the case and explain that to a jury. So basically, in a personal injury case, there are 6 items of damages: lost property damage, medical expenses to date, future medical expenses, lost earnings, lost earning capacity in the future, and general damages for pain, suffering, and disability. Now, if you'd like a more precise estimate of your losses in a personal injury case, you can go onto our website, and there's a free claim evaluation form where we can give you a more specific answer based on your case.
Injured? We can help. Brett Murphy, Washington's Injury Lawyers. Offices in Seattle, Tacoma, Spokane, Bellingham, Mount Vernon, and Vancouver.